Let's learn to drive with RoyDrive.
Okay, people, let's have a look at how we use our gears. In this case, this car is an automatic. You might notice it does have P for park, R for reverse, N for neutral, another gear called DS. DS in this case is sports or shift when you have paddle shifters. The gears work in coordination with your pedals on the floor, which means your brake and the gas pedal. Some shifters, automatic, have a notch that goes back and forth, so you can't shift the gears incorrectly. Let's take a look at the floor and see what we have here. So here you have your brake. Let's start on the right side. You have your gas, accelerator, brake, and also there's another pedal which is called the parking brake here. Now, when you use the pedals on the floor, do not press down on them. Make sure you touch them and then squeeze. Do not push. When you push, the car is going to respond too abruptly and you're going to have a very jerky operation of the car, whether it's the engine or the brakes. So when you move your foot, you're going to move your foot with your heel on the floor, pivot on your heel from gas to brake, gas to brake, and when you press down on the pedals, do not push, squeeze. Touch and squeeze. Touch and squeeze. Do not push like this with your foot going back and forth in such a manner. Otherwise, you're going to have a very jerky operation of the vehicle, and you're going to use going to wear out the brakes very prematurely, and the engine is going to have a very response that you're not going to be comfortable with. So just pivot on your heel. If your feet are very small, you're going to have difficulty with this situation because your heel is going to be off the floor, and as a result, when you press the brakes, it's going to be more likely to be jerky. But if you have a normal size foot, 5'9" for male, about 5'9" for male, about size 9, and females basically 5'5" and essentially size 7, 8 feet average, which is debatable, then your foot can stay on the floor like this. When you use the parking brake, you're going to use your left foot. Now the parking brake works in conjunction with the light on the dashboard, but when you use it, you're going to use your left foot. Press all the way down slowly and release, and the car will stay in place. The parking brake controls the rear wheels of the vehicle in most cases. To release the parking brake, once again, you squeeze down and release slowly until it comes to the top, at which point you can drive the car. If the parking brake is engaged and the car is on, let's start the car first because it's currently off. In this case, we have a push to start. So I'm going to put my foot on the brake. If my foot is off the brake, the car will not start. Then I'm going to reach for the start button, and I'm going to press it in for just about a second, and the car starts up. When the car starts up, to shift the car into drive, I have to first move the selector into D. Slowly. Now, as you can see, the parking brake is still engaged. It's on the floor. And it also tells you it's on because on the dashboard, it says brake on the dashboard here. Now, my foot is off the pedals on the floor. Let's have a look at that. And the car is not moving because the parking brake is engaged. And here you can see the car is in drive. If I release the parking brake, the car will begin to move. So if you have difficulty moving the car, it's because the parking brake is engaged, and you know that because it says brake on the dashboard here. Now let's put it in park. And let's disengage the parking brake. And now the car is ready to drive. If you look at the dashboard, once again, the parking brake light is gone. And there's a seatbelt light. I'm not wearing my seatbelt because I'm sitting still in a parking lot. Now, regarding your gears, when you use the gears, and by the way, some cars you might notice have a parking brake located here or somewhere here. There also can be a hand brake that goes up and down in this position here. Our car does not have that, which I showed to you before. When you use your gears, your foot must be on the brake first, otherwise the gears will not shift. So let's show you the brake one more time. My foot is on the brake, as you can see. And to move your gears, there might be some buttons on the shifter, a transmission selector. Usually the one to move the gears in the front, or sometimes on the top with your thumb. But the ones for this car is in the front. To move it into park or into reverse and neutral or drive, squeeze the button in, move the selector slowly back past reverse, past neutral into drive. At this point the car can move. When you move the shifter, please use it with care. Do not just move it forward like this or drag it backwards and just hope you hit the gear that you want. You must select the gears carefully because on the road test you must demonstrate you understand what you're doing. So when you move the shifter, please move it slowly, one at a time, until you reach the gear that you want. So please be patient and pay attention. So once again, I'm going to demonstrate for you. Reverse, neutral, drive. You might notice when you put the car in reverse, the camera comes on. Let's have a look at that. So you know the car is in reverse. Also, if you look at the dashboard, it says R at the very top. In this case, it indicates that the car is in reverse. So looking at the dashboard, when I move the transmission selector on the center console here, you might notice it will tell me which gear the car is in. So P for park, R for reverse, N for neutral, D for drive. So let's put it back in park. So this way at nighttime, if you're driving and you happen to be not looking down and you cannot see here clearly, when your lights are on, you can see the dashboard and you can tell which gear you're in. So you really don't have to look down to see the gear that you're in. You just have to make sure you look at the dashboard while you move the shifter, and you can find the appropriate gear one at a time slowly. Now, in terms of your gear, here the car is in park. If I was to press down on the accelerator, you're going to notice the RPM would increase a great deal. So if I press down on the gas pedal, you might hear the engine rev up. It will do the same thing in neutral. So let's put it in neutral. So here I'm on a flat surface and the car is not going to roll backwards or forward. So if I push down on the gas pedal, since the engine is not engaged to the transmission, which the wheels are attached to the transmission, not the engine, I can press the gas pedal and it has no effect on the car's motion. So the reason why you hear it going so like that is because the transmission is not going to turn along with the engine, and therefore the wheels will not turn. So let's have a look at the RPM to demonstrate what I mean. So when I pushed on the accelerator, the RPM is going to increase. Now here the gas pedal is all the way to the floor, but it does not go into the red because the engine has what we call a rev limiter on it, and the rev limiter does not allow you to press the gas pedal past the point where it goes into the red. Otherwise you can damage the engine, and that can't be good for anyone. So here we are back in the transmission one more time. As you can see, it's in neutral, and here it's in park, and that does our demonstration for how to use your pedals on the floor correctly.